Welcome to the KINJAZ Podcast. Here we will discuss dance, life, and whatever the we want.
Folks, welcome back to the KINJAZ Podcast, Movement in the Shadows. We are your host, Ben.
And I am Anthony.
And kicking the shoes off, we're at home, we're in the man cave. Folks, we have a very special guest in the pod today. We have actor, comedian, rapper, podcast host, food enthusiast. You might recognize him from MTV's Wildin' Out, Deliciousness, Basic to Bougie, host of the No Chaser podcast and the Dudes Behind the Foods podcast, along with David So, co-owner of the Goody brand.
Wow.
And fresh out the gate, brand new father. We
go.
have Tim Chantarangsu in the podcast.
Go, said my last name right.
I've been practicing that one. I was practicing it all day today.
Dude, that was a good ass intro.
Hey, I
give the most trash intros on my podcast. I never write it down. I saw you and I was like, I gotta start doing that.
Prepared, man.
I'd be like,
prepared.
This motherfucker here, he be dancing and shit. Make some noise.
Make some noise.
I love it.
Live audience.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Of course, man. Thank you for coming through. Dude, we know that time is precious. You're a new dad. You know, we want to get into that. But this is the first time you are on the KINJAZ podcast. So just to give our listening audience a brief origin story, give us the Tim story, man. What are the origins?
Yeah, all right. Well, first I'll tell you this. I have this mask on because I have some pimples on my chin.
Got it. So it's not COVID.
It's not COVID. I'm just keeping this here. I break
Chin
out a little,
diapers.
sometimes. Chin divers. Yeah.
It was a South Park thing. Chin diapers.
Chin diapers.
Diaper, not diaper.
Word.
No,
I was like,
diaper.
is this like an oral
Chin
joke he's making? I don't know. I don't get it.
You know, Regina.
Regina, Saskatchewan. We'll get into it.
That.
I debated. I have a beanie just in case because I was like, I just got a fresh haircut 10 minutes away, pero I also have a big ass pimple on my forehead. So I was like, and I told my barber, he was like, you want me to style it? I was like,
Style the pimple?
no.
I was like, man, that's a good barber.
He's this good dude, right? I was like, I'm just throw a beanie on. And I saw him like get a little like, come on, dog, I just cut your hair. And I was like, all right, style this shit. I'll let the pimple breathe.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
good,
So
bro.
we here. What's up, man? My name's Tim Chantarangsu. If you're not familiar, I used to go by Timothy De La Ghetto. I've been on YouTube since like 2006. And you know, just doing a potpourri of content. You know,
Good.
Yeah.
Real quick, what was the why change Tim Delgado to Chantarangsu?
Man, it was a bunch of reasons. At its core, it was like, okay, I'll tell you exactly what it was, right? It was 2 years ago, pandemic, everybody was quarantined at home, and I was sitting at my house and I was thinking like, let's say I caught COVID and died this month, right? Do I want to be remembered as Timothy De La Ghetto? Do I want people to remember me by this like silly YouTube name I made up, right? And then I kind of started thinking about just like my legacy and how I want to be remembered. And I was like, yo, and I had been thinking about dropping the De La Ghetto for a couple years, right?
Yeah.
And then and I was thinking about like my whole MO from the beginning of my YouTube shit. Like aside from trying to be like a famous actor and stuff, it was like I want to make Asian people proud of who they are, where they come from. You know, I always make sure to like speak Thai in my videos, especially my vlog videos, to just kind of make kids feel like they shouldn't be embarrassed. Because I remember being a little kid talking on the phone to my friends and kind of being like talking quietly because I didn't want them.
Thing.
Yeah, you know, because
yep.
you feel like they're gonna make fun of you, right?
Yeah.
And when you get older, you're like, that's silly, right? This is
Right.
my cultures where I come from. Like, why be ashamed of that?
Mm-hmm.
So then I was pandemic contemplating life, and I was like, well, if this is my whole MO, then let me embrace my long ass Thai last name. Because originally, you know, thinking about my career, I was like, I can't use Chantarangsu. People are not gonna be able to remember that. It's not
it's not like a stage
marketable.
name.
Yeah, it's not a stage name. It's not like fucking Nicolas Cage. You know? I was like, I need something catchy, right?
Right.
And then I was like, let me use this like stage name. And you know, I love the Fresh Prince. It comes from the Fresh Prince. If you didn't know, De La Ghetto's from the Fresh Prince. And I was like, okay, cool. This is some like just some catchy shit I'll say on my YouTube channel. And then then it just kind of became like part of the brand. But then when I really started to think about it, I was like, man, if I want to be as poppin' as I see myself going in my career, then they'll have to know how to say my name, you know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Nicole Scherzinger, you know what I'm saying?
That's right. They'll have to say it right.
Yeah, so it's like, look, if I'm doing what I really want to do, then I can embrace my name, and they'll have no choice but to know my real last name, you know? So that was the main thing. And also, like, the youngins, like the young wokes on Twitter were like, De La Ghetto was problematic.
For sure.
You know, like, it's really, like, jarring, and, like, why did that... every, like, month, there's somebody who's like, why did they let that Asian boy call himself De La Ghetto? You know what I'm saying?
2020 was kind of the birth of a lot of social justice.
Yeah, so, I mean, and so there was that aspect of it, too. And I mean, and yeah, like arguably, like I did grow up in a part of Long Beach, like till I was 10, that you could call like a ghetto area. And like, yeah, my high school was like ghetto, you know what I'm saying? But that was never part of it. You know, that was irrelevant because I got De La Ghetto from the Fresh Prince. Yeah. So I was like, all right, look, what better time than when everybody is pandemic chilling than to kind of like rebirth and like, you know, just redo it, reset it, and use my long ass Thai last name, and kind of like also like homage to my dad, homage to Thailand. Like, look, this is where I'm from. We got long ass last names, and that was it. You know?
I love that being a part of the MO. You know what I mean? To just rep that proud, because Chantarangsu it's not Lee. I'll tell you that.
It's not Lee.
It's not Lee.
It sticks out, right?
Yeah.
Because like my whole, you know, and the thing about it too is like growing up in school, you know, people would roast at first, but then they would love it. You know what I'm saying? Because in school I would get like, oh, Tim got the wrong soup. Tim chant the wrong song.
Sorry.
You won't bring
good.
up?
No, it's better.
Good.
Tim Chimichanga, Tim Chattanooga, Tim
Chattanooga.
Damn, that's creative.
all of it, dog. So, but it was all. But then by the end of the day, it was always like Chantarangsu. They knew what's up, you know.
So when you were growing up, I mean, you mentioned that Fresh Prince was like a big influence, obviously, to the point where it influenced your name. I heard, now I don't know, you know, Wikipedia is not always fully reliable. But you had this thing called the Fresh Prince format.
I did.
So that's a real thing.
Yeah. So
what was that?
Man, okay. So look, when I was younger, I'm my only child, right? So I didn't have any like older brother, older siblings. So I really felt like the Fresh Prince was like my older brother, you know what I'm saying? Taught me how to like dress and kind of joke and like talk to girls even. So I really looked at Will Smith as kind of like an older influence, right?
Have you ever met Will Smith?
No, and fucking everybody has.
It's gonna happen.
And so, especially now that he's a IG, he's like he's an influencer, basically.
He's an influencer now. Yeah.
But I just and I told myself I was gonna do everything Will Smith did, which was like rap, TV, movies, and that's for when I was younger. I called that the Fresh Prince format. I was like, I'm gonna follow everything Will Smith did and try to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then, so if you don't know, so if you're a youngin out there, or if you don't watch Fresh Prince like that, there's an old episode of the Fresh Prince where he joins a poetry club to meet girls, and he makes up a poet named Rafael de la Ghetto. You know what's up. So and that's where I was like, oh man. And I think I was just doing some like just freestyling one day, and I was like, yeah, Timothy de la Ghetto, and I was like, oh, that's catchy. And then, you know, that's why I started using it.
It is catchy.
Yeah, but it's dead now, so. But people always ask me too, they're like, because sometimes they don't know, when they see me on the street, they want to say, yo, De La Ghetto, Timothy De La Ghetto, and like, I'm not mad, you know, if like, because I get it, like, I still call Bow Wow Bow Wow. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, is he not Bow Wow?
He's Chad Moss.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought Bow Wow was already the new one when he dropped the Lil.
Yeah,
it was, but
that was like a decade ago.
There was a time when he was like, nah, I'm Chad Moss now. I'm not Bow Wow. But he still, you know, answers to Bow Wow. Just like you say Timothy De La Ghetto, I'll turn around and say what's up about that. I'm not like, how dare you call me by my old name, you know.
So what was first in the trifecta of music, TV, and movies? Like, what came first? Was it music? Because I mean, you have you're a rapper, bro. Traffic, we all know that. Yeah,
and you know what's crazy? Bro, in terms of Traffic, because I also, you know, I haven't used that name in a long time either, but like my last album that I dropped under Traffic, which was like my last album period, which had like some bangers on there. I got like Magnetic with Tori Kelly on there, like some of my my best shit, right? This year will be the 10-year anniversary of that album. I haven't released the album in 10 years. I'm like, fuck, I'm slacking. I know. So it's been a minute. But in terms of like what happened first, like what did I start like doing first? So,
Yeah. Was it music that
Or
came
first passion?
Oh, yeah.
How'd you get into it, man?
Well, you know what? Like, so when I was YouTubing, right? In the beginning, I would drop some funny shit, and then I would drop like a freestyle and some rap shit, and I would kind of like, I was always trying to let people know that, look, I do the funny stuff and I rap as well, right?
Mhm.
And that's why I had Traffic originally, because I didn't want people to think I was a comedy rapper. That's why I had Timothy Delgado for the comedy stuff, and I had Traffic for the rap stuff, because I didn't want them to think I was like a parody dude or like some Lonely Island type vibes. I was like, I want them to see that I do the funny, and I also like I take the bars seriously, you know? And then when I got to a point where I felt like, oh, okay, they understand and they know what I'm about, I don't need the two names. Because there were people who were like, you know, that Traffic guy kind of looks like Timothy Delgado.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I don't need to confuse people anymore. But I always kind of leaned more. I pushed the comedy out there because I knew that's what like would be more universal. And then eventually there was kind of like a pocket of the people who really fucked with the music, you know? And luckily, you know, in the early days of YouTube, I was really kind of able to navigate the different like cliques of YouTube, because it was very sectional, you feel me?
Yeah.
Like there was like the white comedians and like the Asian comedians, and then the Asian musicians, and then like the black comedians. And I was kind of just cool with everybody, which was cool because, like, you know, because I could go do skits with whoever. And then, but the Asian, like, the musicians, you know, I was still doing shows with them and doing collabs and shit like that. So people were really kind of open to me doing both, which was great.
Right.
And even though there's still people to this day who are like, I don't know, man, like stick to the jokes, dog. But there's always gonna be that dude, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm just like, as far as what popped off, I feel like the comedy's what really popped off, and then the music. There was like, there's people that were there who were like, yeah, I like when you do music, and I almost feel like I'm glad the comedy popped off more than the music, because I don't feel pressure with the music. I feel like I can just be creative with it. I don't, you know what I'm saying? There's not like, people aren't like, yo, we need the album, right? But it's like, but if I drop the album, they're like, oh shit, okay, cool, thank you.
Because like the comedy and stuff maybe like comes more natural to who you are and your personality, whereas the music is maybe more of like your expression and your art, right?
Yeah, man. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm grateful, because you know how like when people are kind of waiting on something for you, you feel mad pressure, right? Like you feel like I need to deliver to a certain like whatever. Definitely. For me, since the music is more kind of like, you know, not priority, I feel like I can take my time, I can have fun with it, I can be weird with it, and whatever I put out I like, you know what I'm saying? Where I feel like a lot of musicians are like, God, I gotta live up to my last hit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm in a good place with that shit.
You dropping another album sometime soon?
Yeah, I'm working on it, bro. I just started writing. Like I've been saying that shit for years, but I've been like slacking, you know what I'm saying?
It's Year of the Tiger.
It's the year of the tiger. I feel like this is the year to get the shit. It's just the year of the tiger, my year. Yeah. It's the fucking 10-year anniversary of my last album. And I think it's a good time to dust off the old pen and pad.
There you go. Yeah. Did you know at like a young age as a kid that entertainment was your path, or was there like, I'm gonna go be a doctor? Or like, oh, never mind, I guess I'm funny. Let me just do comedy. Was there a failed
pathway? Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, actually, I always knew this is what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah, from the jump. And I told my parents from the beginning, I'm like, look, I'll go get this little degree you want, but after that, I'm gonna go and try and be famous.
So you did go to college, you did all that?
So, I've been, like I said, I've been prepping my parents since I was little, right? Like doing school, like theater, plays, all that, and they were always mad supportive. They go to all my plays, go to all my musicals, you know what I'm saying? They were always very supportive of me, and I felt really like blessed for that, right? Grateful that they were cool like that, you know? And plus my parents were like super artistic too, so I think they understood. Like my mom, you know, it's like she like does like plays guitar, and my dad like went to art school and shit. So I think they get it.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's fresh.
But they were still like, make sure you get your degree, right? So as a youngin', yeah, I did go to college, but I was always telling them like, look, I'm doing this for y'all, you know? And then when it kind of got to a point where the YouTube shit, because I started YouTube shit when I was in college. So I got to a point where, this YouTube shit is kind of doing well. And I felt like I was trying to balance everything, but I would register for a whole semester of classes, and then I started doing shows, and then I would end up like dropping like half the classes, and I was part-time for like a few years. I'm like, bro, this is my 6th year at Cal State Long Beach. Bro, I need to like make a decision. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I finally got to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm teetering on both. I need to really make a decision and commit to one.
You was like Van Wilder of Long Beach.
Yeah, dog. Except for I wasn't getting that much ass. You know what I'm saying? I was in a relationship and shit, you know? So I was like, and I wasn't jacking off dogs with donuts, you know?
Yeah. That was a big ass ball sack. I hella remember that.
But I got to a point where I was like, I need to make a decision. And I had an opportunity to do my first like show in Australia. It was my first time going to Australia. I was like, all right. But it was the same week as the first semester of school, you know? And I was like, all right, I can go to Australia because I don't know when I'm going to get hit up for shows again. School will always be here.
For sure.
So I went to Australia. Took a
and
semester
the Australian
off.
fans are the business.
Australia, cunt. Oh, it's lit, bro.
Chad knows what's up, dude.
Yes, dog. And the girls in Australia are down. But I'll tell you this. Not to say that all the girls in Australia are down, but one of the most interesting things about Australia, little side tangent, one of the craziest shits that I when I first realized, wow, I haven't really been anywhere yet, is when you go to Australia and you're shopping or whatever. I was shopping and someone was like, oh, do you need any help? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And they're like, oh, you have an accent. And I'm like, oh, I have an accent. And then there was girls that were like, you have such a strong American accent. I just want to hear you talk. And I'm like, oh my God. I have a strong American accent?
Yep,
This is crazy. I was like, well, let me tell you this. Well, Philly.
I tell you what.
But nah, man, I love Australia.
Love
And yeah, that was like, I ended up taking that year off, and I took 2 years off, and I just never went back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I always tell people, my parents, I could tell when they knew it was a real thing, because like, you know how your Asian parents will always kind of like brag to their friends about shit you do, right?
Yeah.
And it used to be my parents were like, oh, Tim, he's going to school for this and this and that, and also and he does these videos with his friends, right? And then one day I was like listening, and my dad was like, oh, my son's famous on the internet.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, he knows what's up.
Right.
And they eventually just kind of realized what it was, and one time my mom was like, you're gonna go back and get your degree, right? And I was like, Mom, look, do you want me to go back and get my degree, or do you want me to keep paying for your shit? And she was like, all right, never mind.
Out of curiosity, what was that degree that you would have gotten?
Oh, so originally in my head, I was like, let me get something that will help me in my entertainment shit, right?
Okay,
so I was like communications. In my head, I was like, I'll intern at MTV and be a VJ or something like that. And then I was like, man, this degree isn't going to help me get an audition.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me do something that I like. And then, so a lot of people don't know, I used to draw a lot as a kid. Before I was like, I'm going to be famous, I wanted to be like an animator for Disney. You know what I'm saying? So I was an art student for a minute at Cal State Long Beach. But let me tell you, bro, that shit's hard.
Yeah.
That shit is hard. Like, fucking like 4-hour long classes of just sketching and shit, And I'm like, and then I learned quickly that like, wow, like I'm not as good as everybody else in my class, But that shit, but college is a learning experience, And I tell the kids now, I kind of tell kids like, even if you you want to do entertainment, I feel like college is an important just kind of experience. You learn a lot about yourself, about other people.
Oh, college is huge for learning about life. When you have to like not rely on your parents, you start learning shit. But it's still in like a bunkered, safe kind of bubble. It's not like you just get kicked out the house and you got to fend for yourself. It's like, here's a little bit of financial aid. Here's a bunch of other idiots who don't know shit just like you, and you got to figure it out.
And I wish I would have got more ass in college, bro. I was like, I was in a relationship after like my first year, and it was like, I was looking around like, man, so many people are just getting it in right now.
You probably also were you in like dormitories or anything like that?
I didn't dorm.
See, that's half of it.
Yes,
man.
dog.
That's
I
half
regret that. I kind of wish I would have dormed too, because I know I would have been just going crazy. But my freshman orientation day, the dude, the main leader guy was like, all right, well, just so you guys know, 1 out of every 4 kids here has an STD. So
dang.
make moves carefully.
Yeah,
They said that? Are you serious?
Yeah, freshman
That is
orientation.
Fucked up stat to give out.
Cal State Long Beach, dog.
Cal State Long Beach. Props.
Damn, that's pretty
Oh,
crazy.
All right, so you said with the Fresh Prince format, right? We're talking about rapping.
Mhm.
We're talking about comedy,
Yeah, it was rap TV movies.
rap, TV, and movies. Okay, so let's get into some of the acting that you've been doing.
Sure. I mean, well, let's talk about so if we're talking about checking shit off the list,
Yeah.
right? When Wild 'N Out came about, it was like a validating thing for me, right?
Mhm.
Where it was like me putting up YouTube videos and reading comments of like, nah, you'll never be on TV, this and this and that, and growing up where I remember like people would be freestyling in high school, and I remember specifically one time I like was about to hop in a cypher and a dude fucking laughed before I even set up anything,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
So it's like the fact that I got on a show that was on TV and also like it was rap and, and comedy.
Mhm.
It was just a really like, it just felt like, yeah, motherfucker.
Right,
you know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Like
yeah.
I told y'all I was gonna be on TV and I'm on motherfucking TV, So that was dope for me to be able to kind of check that off and be like, yes, I'm on TV.
How did that come about? Was it an audition? Like,
Oh yeah, so it came about like this. So I was on the reboot of Wild 'N Out, right? Because it was on when we were like young.
Right,
you know?
right,
And
yeah.
and even back then, I remember thinking I would be dope on this shit because I rap and I'm funny. This is
Yeah.
like I don't know, like junior high shit, right? So somebody actually somebody told me they're like, hey, Nick Cannon's bringing Wild 'N Out back, and I was like, oh shit. So I followed Nick on Twitter, and then one day he tweeted, "Who's the funniest person on the internet? Whoever gets the most retweets of hashtag
Wow.
Wild 'N Out needs me, I'll audition personally."
Sick.
So I was doing YouTube for a couple years at that point. I had like my my minions retweet, and after some retweets, I got a DM that was like, hey, if you're serious, contact this person about your audition. I was like, dope. And also I had a mutual. Y'all know Abe. Abe's David's
Yeah.
manager. So Abe knew Niall, who's one of the producers on Wild 'N Out. Shout out to Niall and shout out to Abe.
Oh, different Abe. I was thinking about other Abe.
Abe Lim?
Shit, I don't know. He manages David. I don't know his last
Korean dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abe Lim.
Oh, there.
yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Abe.
Yeah.
So
What up, Abe?
so Abe texted me. He was like, "Hey man, if you're serious, I know one of the producers. Like get you in there." I'm like, "Sweet, okay, cool." So it was like both. I had the opportunity. I was like lit. But I remember specifically, I got there and Niall, Wild 'N Out dude, producer was like, "You Abe's boy? All right." He told me you were good. You better show up. I was
shit.
like, "Let's go." So audition was I walk into a room of probably like room like this size, to be honest, like maybe a little bigger, fucking like maybe like 6 people and Nick Cannon just sitting there. And then you get in there and here's what's funny. Nick actually knew about me for my music, not the
Wow.
comedy,
Mhm.
because
Which is also validating.
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
crazy
that's dope.
because here's what happened, right? Because years ago, Billboard put out this list called the Uncharted chart, and it was for people who weren't signed and just their numbers. You know what I'm saying? So, and when they premiered that list, I was number 1. Traffic was number 1 on that list.
Sick.
And one of Nick's artists, because he was signing people to Incredible, was this girl named Colette Carr, and she was either number 2 or number 3 on that list. So he was just kind of checking out everybody.
Yeah,
so when I
yeah.
came into the room, I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And he's like, "Okay, Traffic, what's good?" I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we get in there. They asked me to rap, like either freestyle or written. I did both, and then they had me play some improv games, and then they'll say some shit like, "All right, Kevin Hart is in front of you right now, diss him," some shit like that, and then they called me back for like the follow-up audition, which was like the group, and then they called me up and said, "You're on the show," and I was like, "Sweet."
That's dope,
amazing.
man.
Yeah, man, it was fun. I'm always grateful to my time on Wild 'N Out. You know what I'm saying? It was super fun. It was a good look. I feel like I played my part for my time there. I feel like when we broke up, I think it was the right time. You feel me? Like I didn't initiate it, but I always tell people it's like when you're in a relationship that you've been trying to get out of, but she ain't do nothing wrong. So you're like, I'm all right, I'm gonna stick with it for a little bit. And then she's like, hey, I think we should break up. And you're like, yes. So that's basically what happened, you know? And they hit me up now. They want me to come back, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think they've been really able to fill my space on that show.
Right.
But I kind of feel like, you know, I did my shit on there and I'm good, but like it's all love there.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that was like, I mean, in my opinion, that was just the perfect pocket for you. Like you said, you had the music thing that you were already known for by Nick Cannon.
Right.
And then the comedy thing was just what you were all about. And at that time, there was no Asian face to, you know, that you would expect to see on a show like that.
Right.
And it wasn't like you were a dude that like, oh, they got an Asian guy on the show. It's like, nah, that's Tim. Like he's actually one of the stars on the show.
And he's
you know
smoking
what I mean?
for us.
Yeah. And I think like, you know, as an Asian, like you hella proud of that. You're like, hell yeah, bro, let's go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And
thanks.
like, so, I mean, to that, I mean, I feel like that comes with a lot of, you know, you come off as a very self-aware, confident person. Like you said, I know I'm good at music. I know I'm funny. And this is perfect for me. Like, how did you have that confidence of knowing kind of what you were about, what your strengths were, what, you know, didn't work for you? Like, where did you find all that?
Yeah, man. You know what? In terms of Wild 'N Out specifically, I just knew it would be good for me, right? Because I used to battle people in high school and stuff, right? And I knew I could rap a little bit, but also at the end of the day, I knew I was funny. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate roasting, to be honest. I do not like roasting. Like the new Wild 'N Out episodes, they got this game. Now they got games where specifically all they're doing is roasting each other.
Yeah.
And that's not my favorite. You feel me? And even when I would battle people in high school, now this is how I knew I'd be good for Wild 'N Out, because like even when I would battle people in high school, I would like, and people would be saying shit to me, in my head I'd be like, I just need to come up with like 2 or 3 good joke bars and I like that land and I get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why it was a perfect transition for Wild 'N Out, because Wild 'N Out, you're not up there. It's not a fucking like, it's not like Grind Time, King of the Dot URL shit where you're rapping like 10 minutes of bars for somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's like you get there, set up, punch, ding, laugh, you out, right?
Right.
And that's why it was perfect, because I was doing that in high school. And and then I just knew it was the right pocket for me, you know? And also like, you know, and when you brought up like you know, it was the like I'm like repping Asian people. It's funny because like, you know, when I'm up there, there were definitely times where I felt like shit, because they weren't, when they would come at me, it wasn't like, oh, they're coming at Tim, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got a fucking flat nose and whatever, right? They were coming at me with Asian jokes, you know? Sure. And I'm like, and I'm not rebuttaling with black jokes. If I'm talking to Carlos, I'm talking to Carlos. If I'm talking to Chico, I'm talking to Chico, right? Yeah. So it's like, I feel like when they were coming at me, I'm like, I'm defending my whole fucking race of people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and to be honest, you know, and I didn't mind that, you know, like, yes, it got a little played. I feel like that's one of the reasons why I was glad we broke up. I feel like I did what I had to do on the show, and there was so much I could do, right? And I also feel like it got to a point where they were like, we done said everything we could say to Tim already. You know what I'm saying? Because like, yes, I'm short. Yes, I'm Asian. But after that, like, what you gonna say? I'm fucking cute. What else can you say to me? And but they wanted me back. And it was right after fucking the Rona, right? And I was like, guys, honestly, look, I appreciate it, but there's no way I'm dealing with 30 bat soup jokes a day. I was like, I do not want to deal with this shit. You know, I'm good.
Yep.
So I was
Did you say that to them?
Yeah, well, the producers that were texting me, I'm like, I'm not about to deal with like these bat soup jokes every day. I'm good. So that was that, you know?
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Man, that's dope. So, like, I mean, you know, when I look at your career and, you know, as I'm like, you know, looking you up, I'm like researching, I'm like, man, this fool does everything. I mean, like you are following that Fresh Prince format, and, you know, you doing a bunch of food stuff, and like you launching a clothing brand. So like, you know, when I look at you, it's more than just that little trifecta of the Fresh Prince format. I mean, like, you are a business, you know what I mean? Like, you are a walking business. Thanks. And so where did you kind of get that like entrepreneurial mindset from?
Man, you know what? That's a good question. I feel like, I mean, maybe it's just because, you know, I grew up an only child and I never really, and also I grew up with a family that, you know, had a Thai food restaurant for like 20 years. And running a restaurant is difficult.
Yeah,
you
Thai
know?
food sounds bomb right now.
Oh, bro. Oh, man.
You just said that and something just changed.
You got to have my
dinner.
mom's, dog. It's next level,
Oh, man,
bro.
I bet. Yeah.
And so I think, I mean, to this day, I don't even have like an assistant, you know, and people are kind of like surprised by that. Like people that are kind of in the same lane as me. And I just don't trust other people with my shit, you know? I trust myself to handle my shit. And from the beginning, I was just kind of just felt like, you know, I've always believed that there's no point in worrying about the shit you can't change, right? It's like shit's gonna go how it's gonna go. Like why stress about that? But the things I can control is what I do, and how much work I put in, you know. And I just knew that, like, I always felt like if I was consistent and steadily working at what I wanted, then the only way I would go was up. You feel me? It's like, totally. You know, you get to a point where you get tired of waiting around for opportunities to present themselves, right? And I was like, look, man, even if it's like baby steps, right? I know if I'm continuously making baby steps, I know I'm like just moving forward. You feel me? So I'm like, I just gotta be on my shit and just keep working, you know, at the things I want to do, because there's a lot of shit I want to do, you know? So, and I think also that just kind of comes from just honestly being Asian in the industry, and you get tired of, like, you know, because I had a traditional like agent back before YouTube, and I really the biggest thing he got me was like I was an extra in Tokyo Drift. You feel me?
Oh, you were in Tokyo Drift?
Yeah, I'm in the background.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, this is not the shit I want to do, but there was no opportunities out there for me, you know? Yeah. So I was like, all right, I found this fucking random website called YouTube. Let me just start throwing shit up there. And then when it got a little traction, I was like, oh, let me keep throwing shit up there, you know? Yeah. And then that's when I was like, all right, well, I'm going to just keep doing it, you know?
Yeah. Did anybody other than Will Smith inspire that kind of hustle for you? Any other icons or anybody in general?
I mean, I really look up to Jamie Foxx too, because in terms of somebody who does music and comedy,
and his music was dope.
His music was really good.
Yeah,
and is can pull it off. Right? There's not a lot of people out there like that. I mean, nowadays it's kind of more common, you know, like you got like Donald Glover and like, but back in the day, it was like you kind of had to pick a lane. Right. But Jamie Foxx was doing all that shit, and I used to watch like old and living color reruns all the time, and the fact that, you know, he was doing funny shit, but also fucking like, you know, Academy Award for Ray, right? And then and then there would be like random pictures of like Jamie Foxx grinding on girls, hosting parties in Vegas. I'm like, this motherfucker just doing everything. He don't care, you know? I was like, all right, you know, so I really look up to Jamie Foxx too. Yeah. And bro, one time I was at a Beyonce concert and I was walking by and I fucking ran into Jamie Foxx and he knew who I was. Oh, and he was like, yo, you're funny. I was like, oh my God.
He's like, yo, you're funny. Hey, do something funny. Make me laugh.
He was like, yo, you're funny. Can you grab me a drink? But nah, that was a cool moment for me.
That's dope.
Yeah, so Jamie Foxx I look up to, Will Smith I look up to, and just people that are really like, I like people that are able to just do everything, because I'm trying to just do a bunch of shit, you know. So
any Asians you look up to though?
You know what? It's so funny, dog, because as I was saying those names, I was like, there's gotta be it's somebody. Oh, you know what? Here's the thing too, it's lit. Coming up in my like journey of just wanting to be in the entertainment industry, whenever I saw Dante Bosco doing shit,
I was just about to ask Dante.
Yes, Dante.
Yeah.
Dante. I don't think people give him enough credit.
Right. Yeah.
As being the Asian dude in not Asian spaces. You feel me? Because when I would watch The Fresh Prince, or I would watch fucking Hanging with Mr. Cooper, like it was always Dante there. And I remember being younger, way younger, and seeing Dante on Take the Lead, and then realizing he was playing a high school kid and Googling and being like, this motherfucker is 30 playing a high school kid. He's not going to be able to do this shit for too much longer. Someone needs to take this spot. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
And then the fact that, and people always, to this day, dog, I get tweets where people are like, hey, were you in Blood and Bone? Are you that dude from Blood and Bone? And I'm like, bro, that's Dante Bosco. This movie came out like so long ago. Like, what the fuck? But people always mistake me for him too.
Yeah.
And it's just cool, like, you know, and now, you know, he's cool with everybody.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's nice to be able to be like, when people are like, hey, are you that dude from Blood and Bone? I'm like, no, actually, I'm like, I'm like, nah, me and him are cool though. But, you know, Dante's a good dude. So shout out to Dante.
Yeah.
He was definitely somebody that made me feel like I can do that. If he does that, I can do that. And I think that's when representation is important, you know?
Yeah. For sure. Would you consider yourself like a role model? Like if people look to you like, yo, man, like I look up to you, like how does that make you feel?
First of all, I'll answer that. Tim is a role model. I remember doing YouTube stuff back in 2005 as well. You know what I mean? And just trying to like randomly throw shit out there. And then I remember the first time we would get like fucking 1,000 views, you would look at their homie and be like, I don't know 1,000 people. You know what I mean? And then, so when you would stumble across somebody like Tim, this fool's getting like millions. You're like, what the fuck is life right now? Who is this dude? You know what I mean? So people like Tim actually made me personally feel like I could keep going as well. So, I mean, feel free to answer your own question.
Thanks, man. No, thank you. I appreciate that. No, honestly, you know, like, I don't, you know, when I'm making like dick jokes and stuff, which I do a lot, in my head, I'm not like, yes, emulate this, right? But I do realize from the jump that there was power in what I was doing. And that even by being myself, it was showing young Asian kids that like, oh, I don't have to be a certain way. Or like, I am like, I can be myself and it's okay. And like, and at the end of the day, even like beyond like the Asian kids and me trying to like make them proud, you know what I'm saying? A lot of my energy I try to put out there is like, yo, be unapologetically yourself and like fuck what other people. Yeah, wow, what a horrible time to get a cough. I was getting deep.
I was feeling it. You're taking us there.
Be unapologetically yourself and don't give a fuck what other people think, right? And that's what I always try to put out there, because like at the end of the day, that's what I always put out there, because I was just like, look, man, I'm me. That's really all I know how to be. Like whatever you may think this is, like whether you think this is fake or you think it's appropriation or whatever you think, it's like, look, man, I'm just here to be me and put out like some positivity into the universe, you know what I'm saying? And like and for sure, like I realized that I'm definitely like an influence on these kids. That's why I started doing the Dear Dad Like Ghettos, you know? Because I knew a lot of young Asian kids didn't have somebody to talk to about that type of thing. Right. So when they would write me about like, hey man, I got a bump on the tip of my penis, I don't know what to do. I knew it was important for me to give them my 2 cents and my knowledge. Because here's what a lot of people don't know too, right?
That you're extremely knowledgeable about bumps on penis.
Yes. Because, bro, a lot of these kids were writing to me because I was like, you know, I looked younger, so they could like identify with me. Right. But also like I was in college, you know what I'm saying? Like I took human sexuality, I took women's studies classes. I actually learned a little bit of shit. Okay. You feel me? And I was fucking a lot back then. So
a reminder, 1 in 4 in Long Beach.
Yes, I gave all the 1 in 4 their diseases, dog.
S. Tim D, dude.
Oh gosh, S. Tim D.
Oh my god. But yeah. So I definitely recognize that, you know, I influenced a lot of youngins. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, kids come up to me like, yo, bro, like those Dear Dad Like Ghettos got me through high school. You know what I'm saying? Like helped me be a confident person, helped me like feel better about myself. And I'm like, and that shit's always, you know, it's touching for me. It makes me feel like, you know, like, oh, I have purpose in the universe, you know?
Right.
So,
well,
let's take this shot.
I've been waiting. We've been looking for the right time. And that time is now.
Yes.
Here we go.
Wait, real quick. What is the shot again, Chad?
Green tea shot.
Green tea shot.
Courtesy of Chadler Beggy.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers,
gentlemen.
Cheers.
Yes. Appreciate you. Do y'all tap? A
Mm.
lot of y'all dancers are from Texas.
Tap. There you go.
Always tap. We do tap.
Mm. Wow, that was delicious.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That just tastes like juice.
And that's a
What's
paper.
What's in it?
Jameson.
Jameson.
Word?
Wow, you sneaky guy, you.
Amazing.
I would have never guessed.
No, yeah.
I was
That's
throwing
great.
clear in there.
I thought it was like a gin or something like that.
Wow.
There we
Oh,
go.
shout out to Jen too.
Shout out to Jen,
Oh,
the
yeah,
MC.
Jen.
There we go.
That is a
All
good shout out.
the
That makes
Asian
sense in
folks
this
that are doing
particular.
great. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, man, like, you know, we all just came out of a crazy pandemic, and you know, your name change happened in the pandemic. A lot of people were figuring out how to pivot, how to
Did we
switch
come
things
out?
up.
I mean, are we still?
Well, we're kind
still
of out
in
of the
it?
woods,
All right,
mostly,
sure.
right? You know,
Yeah.
here we are live, right? And, you know, we all caught the vid at some point, I'm imagining.
Yeah,
right? So we're being safe.
I'm just assuming y'all are vaxxed up.
Yeah, I'm the triple vax, boosted
Okay.
up.
I'm
and
boosted
everything.
up as well, yeah.
boosted.
I don't know if I believe in the next booster, but I got the last booster.
Yeah, it's so many. Oh my god, I'm like, all right, bro. How many boosters we gonna
Yeah,
have
I
to
don't
take,
know,
dog?
bro.
I know. I feel you.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode.
Shout out Omarion.
Yeah,
Shout out Omarion. We all got the. But I mean, yeah. So you know, what were some of the things that, you know, realizations for yourself, you know, lulls to, like, you know, different approaches you took on what you wanted to do creatively, professionally? Like, what were some of your like COVID realizations?
Yeah, I mean, you know, aside from the whole existential name change crisis, I think, if anything, I think you really kind of start to think about like family and death a little more. I mean, I always think about death. Just I like talking about death. You feel me? But that's just my dad.
I don't know if I
always-
feel you, but I'm down.
My dad always joked about death a lot growing up, so I just love like talking about death and joking about it. But I think, you know, you kind of start, like, there was a time, I think, during the pandemic where people were like, man, I really need to appreciate life and appreciate my family and my peoples, because you never know, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it sucks that I think it takes death to make you appreciate life. You feel me? And I think that happened for a lot of people. And you know, not gonna lie though, like, I feel fortunate during the quarantine time of the pandemic where I was, you know, I was comfy in my house with my wife, and it was a good time for us to really like just hang out and bond and enjoy each other and like get pregnant, you know what I'm saying? And it was like low key, high key for those 2 years where I feel like we were kind of figuring everything out. Was ideal for us to get pregnant and have a child, where I feel like if shit was popping for me right now, right? And let's say I'm fucking shooting a movie and I'm off and I'm touring, it's like I wouldn't be as involved in her pregnancy and my child's first year of life. So it was kind of, everything was like perfect, you feel me? And it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, you know, where I was still able to make money from the crib as all these companies are also kind of navigating the pandemic and like figuring out a way to do brand deals, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still making money while like I'm home with my pregnant wife and my baby. And you know, it was kind of like, it was kind of dope.
Yeah, that's
not
pretty
gonna
sick,
lie.
dude. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
No, that's
Yeah.
good. I wanted to get into that a little bit. Again, congratulations
Yeah,
to you.
congrats,
Thank you,
man. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
That's
That's
freaking
lit.
awesome.
Y'all should have kids.
Let's all just
It's
go pop out
actually
some
lit.
babies.
Tell us about it, man. Just get into it.
Pretty lit. Let me tell you. Okay, look. I'll tell you this, right? And I'll tell you this. One reason why it's so lit for me is because we were ready mentally, financially. We were like, let's have.
So
a
it was
baby.
planned. You
It
guys
was
had
planned.
Okay,
It wasn't no
yeah,
accident.
yeah,
This was like she was monitoring her fertility and ovulation.
Got it.
She
Yeah.
woke me up at 6 a.m. one day and was like, I'm ovulating. We gotta have sex. And I was like, oh God, let me take a shit. And then I said, well, let me just take a shit and then we'll get it in. I swear. And then we went in for a week. I was tired, bro. And then we got pregnant.
Yeah.
Literally after
Wow.
a week, bro. I told her, I warned her ass. I was like, I got super sperm. It's not gonna be difficult. And then it was a blessing, bro. And man, look, I knew I was gonna like it, but I didn't know I was gonna like it as much as I do.
Wow,
you feel
that's
me?
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, dog. It's such a blessing. And I think that is the difference between people who aren't necessarily ready at first
Yeah.
and people who are kind of just ready. Because I was prepared and I wanted it, and I really wanted a daughter too. And then so like we had
Sick.
a little girl, and I was
Yeah.
like, yes. I mean, I would have loved a little boy too, but I mean, I really wanted a daughter, man. I just felt it in my bones. You know
Low
what
key,
I'm saying?
high key, I want a daughter too.
Yeah, dog. I was just telling the homies, I'm like, look, I wouldn't be mad if we just had all daughters because she wants to have like 3 more and shit. Because I'm like, look, man, I'm not good at catch. I don't be watching. I don't watch sports. I don't know how to put I don't know how to fix the garbage disposal. Like, I don't know, dog. Like, I'm cool with this feminine energy in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Whereas he took women's studies.
I did. I did. I mean, I could tell her about her body. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but look, if this little boy comes up to me, you know, if we have a son and he's trying to do manly shit, I'm like, all right, look, man, I'll teach you how to shave. I'll tell you how to get some bitches. No, I'm just playing. But that's as far as we can go.
Oh man, that's so good.
But yeah, man, it's super fun. As cliche as it sounds, you know, it's like when you have this child, it changes everything. It's like you all your priorities are completely flipped. You feel me? It's like you're not living for yourself anymore. Right. You look into this little being's eyes and you're like, I have a whole new reason for existing, and high key, a whole new motivation for creating and doing my shit, right? Because I did feel like, you know, one of the reasons why I wasn't even really like rapping and stuff, I wasn't motivated to do it. You know what I'm saying? I felt like you kind of get to a place where you're complacent, and I feel like, you know, when I was the hungriest and grinding is when, you know, I was like broke and hungry, you know what I'm saying? And when shit kind of goes successful a little bit and you're in a good place, you lose that drive a little bit, right? But now that I have a new reason to create and to make shit, it's like, oh, okay, I'm motivated again, you know? So, yeah, bro, it's dope. It's like I have a whole new reason for existence.
That's freaking amazing.
In light of that, so, you know, you're obviously somebody who's kind of, I don't think you have any lack of motivation to stay driven. I mean, your career has been amazing, but then you have this person that you brought into the world, and everything is geared towards making sure that she lives in the best.
What's your daughter's name?
Veda.
Yes. And so, you know, with your goals now, right, you know, what you're trying to achieve, whether that be professionally or just even personally, like, what do you feel like you're kind of looking forward to in the future?
Yeah, honestly, man, you know, like, so you know, I'm happy with everything I've accomplished, right? And I have to remind myself of that sometimes, because it's easy to get into the hamster wheel of like always chasing the next thing, right? So every once in a while, I have a bougie ass dinner and I sit and I look at everything around me and I'm like, I'm blessed. This is great. Count your blessings. Life is beautiful, right? But I do also, I feel like I have a lot more that I want to do. I also feel like, man, like, you know, Asian people in the media kind of just started popping. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I feel like I've been grinding for like 15 years online, and it's finally a time where, okay, I got a little bit of like media clout where my foot is in the door at just the right time. You know what I'm saying? And so
if you got to take care of daddy stuff, you just put in a good word for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, the door is open for you. You just let them know I can walk through. You know?
I misunderstood. I was like, oh, you trying to babysit while I go on auditions? Dude, I appreciate that.
You know, I ain't bad with kids. I do love kids.
But yeah, man, I feel like, you know, it's a lot of shit I still want to do, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think this is just the right time where doors are beginning to open up. So I'll always tell people, like, everything that I've done is great, but I want to just elevate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I've been on a cable show, but I would love to get a spot or a part in a network show. Some ABC, NBC shit, right? And, like, I've had small parts in small movies, but I want to either, like, get my own shit, so, like, write my own shit and sell it, or, like, be the main face in a mainstream movie. You feel me? Because look, I'm not like, yes, I'm an artist, but like, no, fuck that. I'm trying to go mainstream, bro. Fuck the indie shit.
Go.
Fuck the artistry, dog. I want to be
in the main blockbuster.
Yes, bro. So that's the goals. You feel me? And as far as the music, yeah, it'd be great to have a radio hit. You know, like, and I tell people too, like, yo, like, it's also kind of a blessing that I'm not popping during this pandemic time. Because can you imagine how frustrating it would be to have like a hit movie and
It goes straight to HBO
go
Max.
straight to streaming?
Yeah.
Or like have a hit
theater,
record
yeah.
and you can't tour it.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that must suck for people,
Mhm,
you know? So I'm like I'm feel like everything, you gotta trust the timing and trust the
Right.
universe, and I'm happy with the pace that I'm going, and also, man, I'm kind of glad, like, I feel like it's scary to be super popping right now, like TMZ and fucking, you know what I'm saying? The internet wants to go crazy at every mistake
with cancel
you made.
culture and everything like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, right now I'm cool, I'm chilling, like I'm all right. I'm just setting up to make some moves. You know?
I'm glad you brought up a little theme. It's kind of popping to be Asian, especially and all that. Like, how do you? I mean, I'm sure we all got our own perceptions of that. I was just joking around with Mike's son just the other day, talking about this Netflix thing that's on. I didn't see it. I watched the trailer. I couldn't get into it. Singles Inferno.
Oh, that show's fire.
Oh, the
bro.
Korean show.
That
Of course
show's
you watched
fire.
that, man.
Yeah, it's
But
fire.
the point is, I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait a minute. You're saying there's a fuck ton of Asian people that just look sexy as hell, and they just do shit that regular Jersey Shore type people do, like a bunch of other regular like white black people in America.
Not at all, bro.
You know
You
what I
ain't
mean?
even watched
Of
it.
course I didn't watch it. That shit looked ridiculous to me, but they do look sexy. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I ain't never seen that before, so I was already inspired to watch the trailer. Yeah. That's the point. I was already like, what is this? I've never seen sexy Asians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, we are in a unique time where Asian is like, is in.
Yeah.
Like, speak on that, because you're in. You know what I mean? Like,
We're in, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's an interesting time, dog. Like, right? Especially with like K-pop and Squid Game and like, I mean, yes, Asian dudes, like, and that's the thing. I think it's specifically you gotta remember, like, the Asian dudes are in right now. Where I feel like Asian girls, like, yes, I mean, yes, they were all, like, they've been. It's debatable on how they've been represented, right? Right. But I feel like for the first time ever, Asian dudes are actually in some mainstream shit, right? And this is like a whole new ball game, right?
And there's range. It's like you don't even have to just be like machismo Asian, like
Right.
you could be super effeminate too, you know what I mean, and just rep. So it's like
yeah, man, it's like it's crazy, right? Where I feel like, here's what's crazy, right? I remember going on auditions a few years ago and people kind of being mad that your social media following played into the auditions, where where you would do your slate to camera and it was like, name, age, where you from, and what you're following. And I know that a lot of people in traditional media were kind of bothered by that, because they're like, ugh, these fucking kids in their social media like followings are getting into these auditions. But for me, I feel like, bruh, like, I've literally been building this for 15 years just to get my foot in the door. Right. You feel me?
Right.
So it's like, if that can help me get in the room where I wasn't even close to the room before, then I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So, and now that, like, I'll tell you what, as far as Asian people, Asian dudes being more like just popping in current like TV and movies and shit, I probably have submitted more auditions in the past year than I have in fucking the past 10 years, dog, of trying to be in shit.
Right.
Where, I was auditioning before and it was like, yeah, okay, they need an Asian dude. Or it might be the random role. It was like, it doesn't matter the ethnicity, But now every audition is. Ethnicity doesn't matter. It actually helps if you're some type of, not white. So it's like, wow, this is it's a whole new ball game, and it's lit. I love it, right? Of course.
I love that you highlight the fact that, the social media following is work. It's not like you just somehow woke up one morning, you got 1 million followers, and as if like that doesn't validate like your talent. Like, you're only gonna build that kind of following because you have the talent. I think it's a non-traditional way, because that's not how things used to be done. And then, I mean, now like we can get into all like Web3 and all this other stuff that's like that, that's gonna be another game changer, right? With like all of that stuff, that you've built, to what you're like trying to now shoot for, your motivations with your daughter and all that. And like the concept of success is something that I feel like is a very arbitrary term, right? But everybody wants some version of success in their life. So with where your life is at now, with where your head is at, how would you define success for yourself?
Honestly, man, like, let's say I died today, right? Or I got diagnosed with some shit where I was like, I was gonna die in a month. I could look back on my life and be completely happy with what I've accomplished, right? And like you said, right? Like there's this idea of success, and success is kind of it all depends on how you feel about it, right? I feel like I got to a point where I made a name for myself, and also I was able to take care of my family, and these were like the main things, right? Where I feel like when I would be shooting these little dumbass videos with my friends and up late night doing like internet shit and going to the studio, and I would tell my mom and dad like, look, I know this is crazy, but I'm telling you it's gonna pay off, right? When I could actually take care of some shit for them and like pay off the house or whatever, I was like,
that was dope.
Thanks, man. I was like, look, this was at the end of the day, beyond the fame shit, this is what I set out to do, right? So at this point in my life, the fact that I've done that, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like honestly, like if this was where I was at and it was just all over, I have no regrets. You feel me? So I feel good about that. But I still got some shit I want to do. And if I can keep doing that, that's a blessing, Would I consider myself successful? Yeah. A lot of people will set out to do some shit like this and it doesn't work out. I came up with a lot of people in the Asian YouTube demo, and it's a lot of people, that ain't doing it anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't say that's because they failed or fell off. It's like, but sometimes it's a lot of people that was just like, what, fuck it, I'm gonna just go have my family and do my thing, and I look around now and it's like, man, it's not a whole lot of us that were in that group that are still doing shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm still doing shit. Every day I'm like, I feel so blessed that people have been watching me this long, that I still have people tuning in after 15 years on the internet. That's crazy because the internet is fickle. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I always try and count my blessings. I feel like, yeah, I did good. But I'm still trying to do more,
Got it. That's what's up, man.
I'm hella inspired. Tim inspires me more than I thought he would.
Straight up.
I thought he was like okay, but like now I see her talking to him, I'm like, damn, I'm inspired.
Real talk.
I'm just good at bullshitting, dog.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yo, so Tim, we like to end each episode with a little fun little lightning round. So we're gonna fire off some questions at you. So here we go, lightning round.
Pepsi. Yes, pineapples.
Yeah, you read my mind.
Yes, pineapples on pizza. Pineapples on pizza. Yes.
Pineapples on pizza.
That's good. Keep going. All right. Well, the last thing you ate.
Sushi on a conveyor belt.
Yeah. 3 minutes from
That's right.
That's why he was late.
Best rapper of all time.
Oh my God! My first thought was Andre 3000. I'm such an Outkast fan.
Andre 3000.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Asian YouTuber you want to punch?
Joji Tsukawa.
Yes.
Love it.
Damn right, Joe. What's up?
What is one thing that most people don't know about you?
I barely grow armpit hair.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's lit, bro.
No fucking way. Yeah, show us.
Prove it. Wow.
I don't shave.
What about your ass hairs?
Oh, thick.
Now I'm super impressed.
Acting, comedy, and music. Pick one.
Damn, acting. Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. He said wow to himself.
Yeah, okay.
All right, low key for real though. Next child, boy or girl?
I want a little squad of girls, man. I want a little girl group, to be honest.
All right, girl dad. All right. What is your biggest fear?
Deep water. I'm not a good swimmer. I can't tread. Yeah.
That's me too. The ocean scares me, bro.
Yeah, dog.
What is your superpower?
You know what? Damn. I was trying to be funny, but honestly, just being able to stay positive through any situation. Oh man,
that's some boring shit. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Another more traditional superpower. Like on some Marvel shit.
What is mine, or what do I wish I had?
What do you wish you had?
I wish I could teleport.
Ooh, same.
Oh damn! Where would you teleport right now?
Thailand.
What if every single time you teleported though, your dick got a little bit smaller? Would you still be using it?
Probably not.
Tim is an honest man.
He's like, I got 3 teleportations left.
What is a dream opportunity?
To write my own movie, do whatever I want, and have and do it with Will Smith.
That's sick.
That's pretty
That's
good.
sick. Let's put it out there.
That's pretty good.
Dream collab.
Like musically
Or
whatever.
You can say
Whatever.
KINJAZ.
Yeah, KINJAZ, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
That would be
good
lit.
though.
That
I'm
would
hype
be
on that.
I would love to do a track with Kanye, even though he's he's a genius, but he's crazy. We're all a little crazy.
He's
Yeah.
a
You know,
genius.
you can go from De La Ghetto, Chantarangsu, you gotta respect his yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
What is something that you believe should be canceled?
You know what? Student loans.
Yes.
I believe in that. I
Hell
believe in
yeah. That's great.
that. Somebody that you know that needs more credit for anything.
Oh damn.
Just throw a random plug out here.
Someone who deserves more credit. Shit. God. Damn.
I love that.
I know there's somebody too. There's someone out there, dog.
Nice. Yeah, there's always someone out there. Next
There's
question.
someone.
Joji Tsukawa.
Way to bring it back. What is your biggest regret?
My biggest regret. The night I fucked Joji Tsukawa in the ass. My biggest regret. Shit. You know what? One time, I think when I was younger, I think I didn't stick up for my mom when some kids were laughing at her not being able to speak English. I feel bad about it. I think about it to this day.
Oh damn.
Yeah. I was a
Got
little
it.
ass kid, but
Yeah,
I feel like you give in the peer pressure, you kind of like laugh with the kids, and then I was like, oh, my mom got her feelings hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh. I wish my mom would speak more English. Mom, if you're listening, if this is translated to Vietnamese one day.
It will be, dude. It will be. What is your proudest moment?
Proudest moment, paying off my family's mortgage.
Yeah, that was sick,
That
bro. When I
was-
seen that video,
Yo,
bro,
Thanks.
I got a little
man.
teary-eyed, man. That was
Thanks,
pretty
man.
dope.
You want to hear a funny little tidbit, fun little touching tidbit about that moment?
Absolutely.
You stole the money.
No. After I gave them the check for the mortgage on the house, and the cameras were off, my mom was like, finally, I can take a break,
Wow.
and I was like, oh.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
That's
She-
amazing.
She was like, finally, I can rest or take a break or whatever she said. I was like,
Wow.
Mom.
Man, I got work to do. All right, if you couldn't rap, act, TV, any of that comedy, what would you be doing?
Honestly, now since the way things have panned out, I'll probably try and open up a little food spot, a little food truck or a little spot. Just kind of take my mom's recipes and finesse them into some current shit, and like I don't know, make some like Thai grapao tacos or something. That's still kind of in the back burner.
Patent pending. Don't be jacking that shit.
Yeah, don't
You
jack
heard it here
that shit, you
first.
stupid motherfucker.
Less of, more of. What would you want to see less of in the world and also more of in the world?
Oh man. Less of damn.
Joji Sakawa.
Both. We need equal amounts.
Damn, I wish I had a better answer. Less of people talking about shit they don't know about. I feel like Twitter is like
Oh my god.
really good. People like to just talk shit just to talk shit when they don't really know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They might read a headline and react off that without reading the whole article, shit like that. Less of that. Less of like judgments. You feel me? And more of listening to each other. Yeah.
Love it. So we like to kind of hear people's thoughts about, mastery, right? I think everybody's on some journey to master something, right? And Bruce Lee has this famous quote. He says, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times," right? So through your life, through your career, what is something that you feel like you've mastered?
You know what? I feel like I have just mastered the art of not giving a fuck. Nah.
That's it.
So good. I knew it was coming, but I still loved it. Oh man.
Nah, you know what? Well, kind of on the same token, right? The art of and we touched on this earlier, right? The art of just grinding for yourself, right? Because I always try and preach, you can't control what happens in the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I like to live my life. Because people will tell me you never seem like you're stressed about anything. I've also been accused of not caring enough about shit, right? But I always kind of remind myself look, man, whether shit goes bad or shit goes good, you can't control what happens or what's gonna happen. And I feel like I've mastered the art of controlling how I react to what happens, right? So there's that old saying, right? Life isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you react to what happens to you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like for me, my main thing has always been, at the end of the day, I can only control myself and how hard I work and how much I put in. And I think that's why I've benefited from it. You know, it's I'm not worried about none of the bullshit. I do my thing as best that I can, the most ways that I can, and I just kind of work towards my own shit, and I think that is what makes me successful. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that just to say, not giving a fuck.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's just, bro, Tim, thanks for coming on, man, and talking with you and just hearing your incredible journey, bro. It even with what you're talking about, not caring, right, or not worrying about being somebody else that is not you, right? You're just authentic to yourself, being very self-aware, and you are a role model, bro. Straight up, And I don't think a role model needs to look any kind of way. If someone looks up to you, they look up to you, and it doesn't make you a perfect person, but you definitely recognize that you're putting on for Asian folks, but you're putting on for yourself, you're putting on for your family, and you're inspiring a whole generation, man. And just just homie to homie, I'm super inspired just by hearing the stories. And I have a ton more questions, but we're running out of time. But dude, just thank you for doing what you're doing for the community, bro, and for artists out there, for Asians, for Asian dudes, you know what I'm saying? You're putting it on, and just thank you for coming on, brother.
Well, thank you for the kind words, man. Thank y'all for having me on, guys. Thank you for the drinks, bro. Thank y'all for tuning in, and hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, where can people find you if they're not already following you on socials, YouTube's, all that? Plug it all in.
YouTube.com/Timothy. I got a couple podcasts on there and hilarious food videos and other shit. Also, follow me on Instagram if you want. Tim Chantarangsu, my whole last name. That's it.
We'll plug all that in the description of the show. Folks, thank you for tuning in for another episode. Thank you guys for following the journey to our second season. If you guys are digging what we're doing on the pod, make sure you follow us. We're on all the socials, KINJAZ Podcast, cast with a K, Twitter, IG, Facebook, all that. Leave us a 5-star review if you're digging what we're doing. Leave us a rating. All of that really helps us get visibility.
Unless you don't like what we're doing.
Unless you don't like it, just fake
quiet.
it.
And buy some KINJAZ noodles.
Yes.
KINJAZ bag noodles, y'all.
You heard it from Tim.
Dude, we didn't have to say it. That's good. We got to take that as just a
Can we make that a commercial? We're going to make that a commercial.
Buy some KINJAZ noodles. That's the commercial.
You got to say KINJAZ bang noodles.
Buy some KINJAZ bang noodles.
Thank you. Now do it again with your shirt on. No. Hell yeah.
Thanks, y'all. We out of here. Peace.
Bye. It's lit.
Yo. It's lit.